My number one piece of advice for anyone who wants to run any TTRPG game for the first time, be that Draw Steel, D&D, is run for new people. Go onto a public Discord server or on Roll20 or however you find groups and find a new group of people. Find a group of people who it's their first time ever playing the TTRPG you've played. Because, and I mean this literally, if you do that, you will be the best director or dungeon master or game master, whatever you want to call, the best director they have ever played for in that system or at all. And that might feel like cheating. You might be listening to this going, oh, that's like the easy way out. But it's not, because you have to learn how to run a new system. You're not going to be good at it, and it's going to be hard. But if you run for people who've never played the system before, one, those new people you find, if they are people who are looking on message boards for online games, probably don't have anyone near them and are really excited to play. So you're going to get a group of very excited to play players who don't know the mistakes you're making and will love your game. It's that simple. That is the whole idea. Now I'm gonna chat for a little bit, right? So why do I say this, right? Because this is something I say a lot to people, and it is that simple. But it's also because nearly everyone I know doesn't run for one of these two reasons, right? And it's reason number one is that they are playing in a group with experienced players and experienced director. And that's intimidating because experienced players expect a lot from the director, and an experienced director is often doing a lot of things which are kind of impossible to replicate on your first time. So when you're playing in that group, the thought of trying to run for that same group of players is terrifying because they all know what a good game is, what they like in a game. And if you don't meet that, they're not going to enjoy that. And so for those people, those are the people who tend to prep. I find one of the ways they cope with that is like everyone, they prep a lot more, but they tend to not run because they think that they need to already be good as a director. And my words for you, if you're in that situation, is you're not going to get good by just sitting here not running. You know that. So go run for people who want to play your game. Even if they don't, yes, they might not have huge amounts of options, but a lot of online games there are options. But they're going to pick you, they're going to play for you. You don't have to run for them forever. You don't have to run for them once a week for the next 5 years. You can just run 4 sessions, and you're going to learn more in those 4 sessions, and you're going to be able to take that into your game with your experienced group, and you're going to have a great time. So group number 2 are people who want to run, but their players don't want to move to the new system. They're in love with D&D or Pathfinder or whatever, and they don't want to play Draw Steel or Monster Hearts or Good Society, whatever you want to play. And you know that there are people out there who are dying to play the system you want to play. There are hundreds of people out there who are dying to play Draw Steel and do not have a group and do not have people to play with. And if you post in your weird time zone, wherever you live, whatever the time is you play, but even better if it's a weird time, but a normal time, there are people out there who will be so excited. They will come to you and you will post a game and they will message you with their 15-page backstory, and maybe that's too much, but coming from a group who are no, you have to run D&D for me, you don't want to do the cool things you want to do because we want to do this, you'll get to do that. And there's no downside. There is no downside. The only downside is your social anxiety, and as someone, I get it, I do get it, maybe I'm not the most social anxious person, but I get it. But remember, and this is the thing you have to come back to, you will be the best director they have ever played for. If you find new people, the best. You can't fail. You cannot fail. Maybe in 10 years' time, they will play for another director, or in a month's time, and they will discover that you were terrible. But they won't care because you were their first experience getting to play. And we all remember our first time playing. I was quite young, I was a kid, so I remember it, and it was amazing. And now if I think about that experience, it was not amazing. It was not good. It was not all the things I love now. But it didn't matter because it was my first time. So the thing I want to leave you with, I'm going to pop screenshots on one side of the screen, probably this size, right? And 2 weeks ago on a Friday night, my girlfriend had gone out with her friends and I was at home and I was like, you know what? I want to run tonight. So with 3 hours notice, I posted in the MCDM Discord server, in there looking for game channel for Draw Steel, and I went, hey, I want to run tonight at 7 p.m. my time. And I got 6 players. I got 4 of those players within 15 minutes. Now granted, one of those players I've been chatting to, so he knew I was going to run, thinking of running tonight. He was one of the ones who was like, I want to play. So you can, so that can happen. But regardless, I would have had 3 players. I got 2 more late that night. I had another person who messaged me the next day being like, do you still have spots? I've been able to find more players because we need to finish the game in a second session. And it's that easy. So I want to leave you with this, right? Here is how I would go about sending that kind of message, right? This is the format you need to do. You need to, if you want to run Draw Steal, we're going to use Draw Steal for this example because it's the easiest one that I know of, but this is how you're going to do it. First of all, you need to be in the MCDM Discord server. I'll leave a link to that in the description, right? Then you're going to go to the DS_looking for games channel. There is rules for what you need to put in the post. I strongly recommend reading them. Then you're going to go and you're going to make a little post at the top and you're going to say, what do you want to run? My post was looking for LFP, so looking for players. Level 1, right? Put those 2 things in there. What are you looking for? What level are you running for? Today, right? Because I want people to know it's today. When are you going to run it? Don't always put the date in there, but today can be quite useful if you want to run that night. Then I put a mineshaft collapse is the worst that could have happened. Right, that's the adventure. The adventure starts with the idea that there has been miners gone missing. Everyone thinks it's probably quite depressingly. The mineshaft has collapsed and killed them all. They need someone to go find out. They'd sent a knight. He hadn't come back, so that was getting a bit weirder, but they just needed someone to go find out. That was probably the worst of it, right? Then in the top of the message, I was like, this is an adventure I've had on the back burner for a while. I want to run. Cool, that's pretty chill. That's normal stuff. Then I've put on the second line, I've said, I want to start the date and then the time. That's one of those little Discord time code things. You can get those now by typing @time in Discord, and it will give it. It displays in everyone's time zone, so people from other continents know when you're talking. I then said how long I want to play for, 4 hours, and hopefully that means you can get through the whole adventure in 1 session, but don't quote me on that. We didn't. It didn't happen. I then said level 1 characters. If you're a new player, this is a good jumping off spot. And then I've said this is my own setting, right? It's that simple, but it doesn't. I've said this is my own setting, but it doesn't matter for the game. Then I've put a little bit of text describing the adventure, describing the vibe of it. I won't read that all out here. It should be on screen, so pause the video. But that's how I got players. And I posted that at 3:50, 3:10, and I had 2 players responding they wanted to play at 3:14 and 3:19. And a player DMing me, and then an hour before we started, another player messaged me, and 2 other players responded in a different Discord where I also posted it. That's it. And you will get to run. And you will get to run the game you want to run, you'll get to play with players. And in my experience, right, when you run online, yes, sometimes you get some weirdos. But do you know the joy of being online? If you're in your own Discord call, and a person joins, and they're being a massive wangrod, or a bit weird, or casually sexist or casually racist, you can just remove them. There's no stakes. You can moderate your group how you want it, right? No pressure, don't have to worry about that. You can block them if they're like sending you hate or something. If you get it from Discord server and there's that kind of interaction, you could probably tell a mod and that person would probably get banned from the server and you're good, right? Then, but that's not the main thing, but you're going to get to run the game you want to run. You're going to be the best director these people have ever played for. And I guarantee you there are people out there who will be so happy that you've run for them. Okay, folks, that was the video. It's much shorter. It's my number 1 piece of advice, right? Maybe I should have saved it for a later video, but that's the number 1. That's the best piece of advice I have, right? Every other piece of advice I give is secondary to this one, right? I will be linking this one in the description. So if you're watching, just remember this. Next time you're watching a TTRPG YouTuber and they're teaching you about something you can do to make your game cool, just remember, make sure you're running. Make sure you've run and you've tried running, because that's the most important thing. Nothing anyone says can change that. So yeah, hopefully next week you'll see the next installment in my kind of how I ran this adventure and how you can run it. And I'm hoping that one will be a little bit more focused on how you guys can run it, because I realised that you guys are the people who want to run it. You don't need to hear about how I ran it. That's not important. You need to know how you can run it and how you can make it better than when I ran it, without having to be some giant adventure which is too big to read, right? So the video should help you understand that. So yeah, short one. Hope everyone's doing great. Have a great one.